Have you ever noticed how the minutes before sunrise are the darkest, when everything seems still, silent, waiting? That's exactly where you are right now. You're standing at the edge of your own personal sunrise, and you might not even realize it. Look at your hands for a moment. These same hands that might feel empty right now are the ones that will soon hold everything you've been dreaming of. But here's what most people miss. The magic isn't in the waiting. It's in what you do while you wait. Let me share something powerful with you. Just last month, someone walked into my workshop carrying the weight of 20 years of unfulfilled dreams. They didn't have special connections. They didn't have extraordinary talents. They had something far more valuable. They had finally understood that preparation beats expectation every single time. Think about this. Every single achievement, every breakthrough, every moment of transformation begins with exactly where you are right now. Not with perfect circumstances, not with perfect timing, but with perfect awareness. The awareness that this moment, yes, this very moment, is not your waiting room. It's your launching pad. What if I told you that everything you've been yearning for has actually been yearning for you? That every setback was setting you up, every delay was preparing you, every not yet was protecting you until you were truly ready. You see, most people spend their lives asking, when will my time come? While missing the profound truth that their time isn't coming, it's already here. This isn't about wishful thinking. This isn't about empty promises. This is about understanding a fundamental truth. Preparation is the highest form of belief. When you prepare for something, you're telling the universe, your mind, and your heart that you're ready. You're not just hoping anymore, you're creating, you're building, you're becoming. And that's exactly what we're going to explore together, because the difference between where you are and where you want to be isn't in the waiting, it's in the preparing. It's in the becoming. And today, right here, right now, we're going to learn exactly how to do that. You know that feeling when you wake up each morning and before your feet even touch the floor, your mind starts playing the same old stories, those familiar thoughts that have become as automatic as breathing? That's not your destiny speaking. That's just a pattern. And patterns, no matter how deeply etched, can be changed. Let me tell you something powerful. Your past is not a prediction of your future. It's simply a collection of moments that taught you who you used to be. Used to be. Those are the key words here. Because right now, in this moment, you get to decide who you're becoming. Think about how many times you've said to yourself, this is just how I am. Every time you say those words, you're laying another brick in the wall between you and your potential. But here's the truth that's going to set you free. You weren't born with those limitations. You weren't born doubting yourself. You weren't born playing small. These are learned responses, and what's learned can be unlearned. Every morning, millions of people wake up and unconsciously choose their past over their future. They choose what's familiar over what's possible. They reach for their phone instead of reaching for their dreams. They check their messages instead of checking their intentions. They plan their day around what they know instead of what they could become. But you're different. You're here because something inside you knows there's more. That restlessness you feel, that's not discontentment. That's your future calling you. That uncertainty that keeps you awake at night, that's not anxiety. That's possibility knocking at your door. The most beautiful part about breaking free from your past is that it doesn't require a grand gesture. It doesn't demand that you quit your job tomorrow or completely transform your life overnight. It simply asks you to make one conscious choice at a time. One moment where you pause before reacting. One instance where you choose differently than you did yesterday. Every time you interrupt an old pattern, you create space for something new to emerge. Every time you question an old belief, you open the door to new possibilities. Every time you choose courage over comfort, you rewrite your story. You see, freedom from the past isn't about denying where you've been. It's about deciding where you're going. It's about understanding that your history is a chapter, not the whole book. You're not turning the page, you're writing a whole new story. And here's what makes this moment so powerful. You don't need to know every detail of your future to start moving toward it. You just need to be willing to release your grip on what was, so your hands are free to reach for what could be. Are you ready to stop letting your past write your future? Because that's where true transformation begins. That's where everything you've been waiting for starts to materialize. Not in some distant tomorrow, but right here, in the choices you make today. Have you ever noticed how some days you feel unstoppable, while on others everything seems to drain you? That's not random. That's energy. And once you understand how to master your energy, you'll hold the key to creating everything you've been waiting for. Think about the last time you felt truly alive. Maybe it was while dancing or creating something beautiful or achieving a goal you'd set for yourself. In that moment, you weren't thinking about what could go wrong. You weren't dwelling on past mistakes. You were fully present, fully alive, fully in your power. That's what high energy feels like. And here's the amazing thing, you can create that state on demand. But first, let's talk about what's really happening when you feel stuck. You wake up, and before you've even begun your day, you're carrying yesterday's worries, last week's disappointments, last month's setbacks. Your body might be in the present, but your energy is scattered across 1,000 moments of the past. No wonder it feels like nothing's changed. The secret to mastering your energy isn't in trying to feel positive all the time. It's in understanding that you have the power to shift your state at any moment. When you feel those heavy emotions, the doubt, the fear, the uncertainty, don't push them away. Don't fight them. Instead, recognize them as signals that you're ready for something new. Every emotion you feel is simply energy in motion. Anger, that's energy waiting to be channeled into determination. Fear, that's energy waiting to be transformed into excitement. Frustration, that's energy seeking a new direction. The moment you understand this, you stop being a victim of your emotions and become their master. Start your day by asking yourself, what energy am I bringing to this moment? Before you check your phone, before you start your to-do list, before you step into the world, choose your energy. Because here's the truth. The energy you bring to the beginning of your day is the energy that will create your experiences. When you walk into a room, your energy arrives before you do. When you speak to someone, your energy communicates before your words do. When you set a goal, your energy determines its outcome before your actions do. This is mystical thinking. This is practical power. The most successful people in any field understand this. They don't wait for external circumstances to energize them. They don't need perfect conditions to feel powerful. They've mastered the art of generating their own energy, their own momentum, their own force field of possibility. Here's a powerful truth. Your energy is your frequency. And like a radio station, you're always broadcasting. The question is, what frequency are you tuned to? Are you broadcasting on the frequency of lack or abundance, fear or faith, doubt or certainty? Because whatever frequency you're broadcasting is exactly what you're going to receive back. And here's where it gets really interesting. When you start consciously choosing your energy, life starts responding differently. Opportunities that seemed out of reach suddenly appear within your grasp. People who can help you achieve your dreams suddenly cross your path. Solutions to problems you've been struggling with suddenly become clear. This isn't coincidence. This is energy mastery, and it's available to you right now in this moment, because everything you've been waiting for isn't just coming. It's already here, waiting for you to tune into its frequency. Your mind is like a garden. Every thought you've ever had is like a seed you've planted. And right now, in this moment, you're living in the garden of every thought you've nurtured. But here's the thing about gardens. You can always plant new seeds. You can always grow something different. Take a moment right now and listen to the thoughts running through your mind. Listen to the quiet whispers that say, I'm not ready, or what if I fail, or who am I to want more? These aren't your thoughts. These are echoes of every limitation you've ever accepted, every boundary you've ever believed in, every ceiling someone else placed over your dreams. You know, what's fascinating, most people are more comfortable with their familiar discomfort than they are with unfamiliar possibility. They'd rather stay in situations that drain them because at least they know what to expect. They'd rather keep their dreams small because at least then they won't risk disappointment. They'd rather believe in their limitations because at least then they won't have to face the unknown. But you're not most people. You're here because something inside you refuses to settle. Something inside you knows that those limiting thoughts are just borrowed beliefs handed down from people who were themselves living in limitation. Let me share something powerful with you. Every time you say, I can't, add one simple word at the end. Yet. I can't do it. Yet. I can't afford it. Yet. I can't see how. Yet. That one word opens a door in your mind. That one word plants a seed of possibility where there was only limitation before. Your limited thinking isn't your fault, but releasing it is your responsibility. Every time you catch yourself putting boundaries around your potential, ask yourself, who gave me this belief? When did I decide this was true for me? What if the opposite were possible? Most people live their entire lives inside invisible walls they've built themselves. They look at their dreams through windows they could easily open. They reach for their goals with hands they've tied behind their own backs. But those walls, they're made of thoughts. Those windows, they're made of beliefs. Those ties, they're made of stories you've told yourself so many times you forgot they were just stories. Here's a truth that might shake you. Your potential isn't limited by your past, your circumstances, or your current situation. Your potential is limited only by your willingness to question every thought that tells you this is as good as it gets. The most powerful moment in anyone's life is when they realize that their limitations are self-imposed, because if you impose them, you can remove them. If you built that ceiling, you can break through it. If you drew those boundaries, you can redraw them. Every time you choose a bigger thought, you create space for a bigger life. Every time you question a limitation, you open the door to new possibilities. Every time you refuse to accept "I can't" as your final answer, you step closer to everything you've been waiting for. Because here's what nobody tells you about limitations. They're comfortable, they're familiar, they feel like protection, but they're actually prison cells with the door left open. You don't need to break free, you just need to walk out. You don't need to fight your limitations, you just need to stop believing in them. When you look at a masterpiece, what you're really seeing is thousands of small brushstrokes. When you hear a symphony, what you're really hearing is thousands of individual notes. And when you see someone living an extraordinary life, what you're really witnessing is thousands of small, intentional choices that created new patterns. Your life right now is a reflection of your patterns. The way you start your morning, the thoughts you think when faced with challenges, the actions you take when opportunities appear, these aren't random events. They're patterns you've practiced until they became automatic. But here's the beautiful truth. You can create new patterns just as easily as you fell into old ones. The only difference is consciousness. Old patterns happen to you. New patterns happen through you. Old patterns run on autopilot. New patterns require your presence, your intention, your commitment. Let me share something revolutionary. Your mind doesn't know the difference between what's happening in your outer world and what you're creating in your inner world. When you sit quietly and vividly see yourself living your dreams, feeling the emotions of achievement, experiencing the joy of success, your mind begins to create new patterns based on these experiences, even before they manifest in your physical reality. This isn't pretending, this isn't wishful thinking, this is mental rehearsal at its most powerful. Athletes use it, artists use it. Every successful person you admire has used it in some way. They create the pattern in their minds before they create it in their life. Start with your morning routine. Instead of reaching for your phone, reach for your vision. Before you step into the world, step into the feeling of who you're becoming. Take 5 minutes, yes, just 5 minutes, to sit quietly and feel the emotions of having everything you've been waiting for. Let those emotions create new patterns in your body, new pathways in your mind. Throughout your day, catch yourself when you fall into old patterns. When you feel stress, pause. When you feel overwhelmed, pause. When you feel doubt creeping in, pause. In that pause lies your power to choose a new pattern. In that gap between stimulus and response, you can create something new. Most people try to create new patterns while keeping their old environment exactly the same. They try to think differently while surrounding themselves with the same influences. They try to feel differently while engaging in the same conversations. They try to become different while holding on to everything that created their current reality. Your new patterns need new soil to grow in. They need new environments to flourish in. They need new conversations to strengthen them. Look around your life right now. What in your environment is feeding your old patterns? What needs to change for your new patterns to thrive? Remember this. Every master was once a beginner. Every expert started with day one. Every new pattern feels awkward at first. But with practice, with patience, with persistence, these new patterns become your new normal, your new automatic, your new reality. And here's the most powerful part. As you create these new patterns, you become magnetic to everything you've been waiting for, because success isn't something you chase. It's something you attract by becoming the person who deserves it. Every new pattern you create is like a signal to the universe saying, I'm ready for more. I'm prepared for better. I'm available for extraordinary. There's a magical moment in transformation that nobody talks about. It's the sweet spot between pushing forward and letting go, between doing and being, between creating and allowing. This is where true transformation happens. This is where everything you've been waiting for begins to materialize. Most people miss this sweet spot because they're either trying too hard or not trying enough. They're either forcing their way through life or passively waiting for life to change. But true transformation happens in the balance between these extremes. Think about how a flower grows. It can't force itself to bloom. That would only damage its petals. But it also doesn't sit passively. It turns toward the sun. It draws up water through its roots. It responds to its environment while staying true to its nature. This is the perfect balance of action and allowing. Your transformation works the same way. There are moments to push, to strive, to take bold action, and there are moments to be still, to listen, to allow things to unfold. Your power lies in knowing which moment you're in. When you're in harmony with this natural rhythm of transformation, you start noticing subtle signals. Maybe you feel a flutter of excitement for no apparent reason. Maybe you dream about opportunities that later appear in your waking life. Maybe you feel drawn to certain people or places that later become significant in your journey. These aren't coincidences, they're confirmation signals. They're letting you know you're in alignment with your transformation. But here's what trips most people up. They try to control these signals. They try to force them to appear. They try to rush the process. Remember this, you can't rush your transformation any more than you can rush the sunrise, but you can prepare for it. You can position yourself to receive it. You can create the perfect conditions for it to unfold. The balance point of transformation is where gratitude meets ambition, where peace meets passion, where acceptance meets aspiration. It's being thankful for where you are while being excited about where you're going. It's loving your present while creating your future. Most people think transformation requires constant motion, constant doing, constant pushing. But ask any master painter. The spaces between the brushstrokes are just as important as the strokes themselves. Ask any musician. The silence between the notes is what creates the melody. Your transformation has its own rhythm, its own timing, its own perfect balance. Your job isn't to force it. Your job is to find its rhythm and move with it, to recognize when to act and when to allow, when to speak and when to listen, when to push and when to surrender. Because here's the truth. Everything you've been waiting for is already in motion. The seeds of your transformation are already planted. Your job now is to find that sweet spot between nurturing those seeds and allowing them to grow in their own perfect timing. The most beautiful moments in life often come wrapped in uncertainty. That promotion you're dreaming of, it's waiting in the unknown. That relationship you're hoping for, it's hiding in the unexpected. That breakthrough you're praying for, it's concealed in the unfamiliar. Yet look at how we treat the unknown. We try to plan it away. We try to control it away. We try to think it away. We create detailed 5-year plans as if life follows our schedules. We set rigid goals as if the universe checks our calendar. We cling to certainty as if it's the only path to success. But what if the unknown isn't your enemy? What if uncertainty isn't a barrier to your dreams, but the birthplace of them? What if everything you've been waiting for is waiting for you in the spaces between your plans? Think about every great adventure story you've ever heard. The hero never has a complete map. They never have perfect certainty. They never have a guarantee of success. What they have is something far more powerful. They have trust. Trust in themselves. Trust in the process. Trust in the possibility that something greater than their plans is unfolding. Most people live their entire lives trying to avoid uncertainty. They stay in jobs they've outgrown because at least they're familiar. They maintain relationships that no longer serve them because at least they're predictable. They pursue goals that don't excite them because at least they're achievable. They've traded their potential for predictability. But you're different. You're here because something inside you knows that your greatest life lies beyond the boundaries of certainty. Your greatest achievements wait beyond the edges of your comfort zone. Your greatest joy exists beyond the limits of your current understanding. When you learn to embrace uncertainty, something magical happens. Your senses sharpen, your awareness expands. You start noticing opportunities that were always there but hidden behind your need for certainty. You start recognizing possibilities that were always available but concealed by your desire for control. Every time you step into the unknown, you build a new kind of strength. Not the strength of control, but the strength of adaptability. Not the power of certainty, but the power of trust. Not the security of knowing, but the freedom of growing. The unknown is not empty space waiting to be filled with your plans. It's fertile ground waiting to be discovered by your courage. It's not a void to be feared, but a canvas waiting for your dreams. It's not an obstacle to your success, but the very path to it. Here's a powerful truth. The size of your life is directly proportional to the amount of uncertainty you can comfortably embrace. The magnitude of your success is directly related to how much unknown territory you're willing to explore. The depth of your fulfillment is directly connected to how much you trust in the unfolding of your journey. Because everything you've been waiting for, every dream, every goal, every aspiration, isn't waiting for you in the known. It's not hiding in the familiar. It's not concealed in the comfortable. It's waiting for you just beyond the edges of your certainty, just past the boundaries of your current knowledge, just outside the limits of your present understanding. And here's the most beautiful part. The unknown isn't testing you. It's inviting you. It's not challenging you. It's calling you. It's not threatening your dreams. It's protecting them until you're ready to receive them. Water transforms into steam at 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Not at 211, not almost there. At exactly 212 degrees. Makes a difference between hot water and the power to move mountains. Your breakthrough works the same way. You might feel like nothing's happening, like all your efforts aren't making a difference, like you're stuck at 211, but you're not seeing what's building beneath the surface. Every prayer you've whispered, every tear you've shed, every time you've chosen to believe when it would have been easier to doubt, it's all been bringing you closer to 212. Every morning you've risen despite disappointment. Every time you've persisted despite uncertainty. Every moment you've stayed faithful despite delays. You've been adding degrees to your transformation. Most people quit at 211. They mistake the moment right before breakthrough for the moment of failure. They interpret the darkness before dawn as a sign to turn back. They see the resistance before breakthrough as proof that it's not working. They let their doubt whisper louder than their destiny, but you're still here. You're still believing. You're still moving forward. And that's not just persistence, that's power. That's not just determination, that's destiny in motion. Because breakthrough doesn't announce itself in advance. It doesn't send you a text message saying it's on the way. It doesn't give you a heads up that tomorrow's the day. Breakthrough happens in the moment you decide to keep going anyway. Look at the caterpillar's journey. In the moment, right before transformation, everything falls apart. The caterpillar's body literally dissolves inside the chrysalis. To an outside observer, it would look like complete destruction. But we know better. We know that dissolution is necessary for transformation. We know that what looks like falling apart is actually falling into place. Your life works the same way. Sometimes things fall apart not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're doing something right. Sometimes chaos comes not to destroy your dreams, but to clear the path for them. Sometimes confusion comes not to derail you, but to redirect you to something even greater than you imagined. Every master will tell you the same truth. The moment of greatest resistance often comes right before the moment of breakthrough. The moment of deepest doubt often comes right before the moment of profound revelation. The moment of greatest uncertainty often comes right before the moment of undeniable clarity. This is where faith becomes your greatest ally. Not blind faith, not passive faith, but active faith. The kind that keeps moving forward even when the path isn't clear. The kind that keeps believing even when the evidence isn't visible. The kind that keeps working even when the results aren't immediate. Because here's the ultimate truth about everything you've been waiting for. It's not just coming, it's already here. It's in every choice you make to believe instead of doubt. It's in every decision to act instead of wait. It's in every moment you choose courage over comfort. Your breakthrough isn't something that happens to you. It's something that happens through you. So let this be the moment, not tomorrow, not next week, not when everything is perfect now. Let this be the moment you stop waiting and start becoming. Let this be the moment you stop preparing and start transforming. Let this be the moment you realize that everything, yes, everything you've been waiting for has been waiting for this exact moment when you finally understand that you are the breakthrough you've been waiting for. The future you've been dreaming of isn't in some distant tomorrow. It's in the power of your next choice. It's in the courage of your next step. It's in the faith of your next breath. Your time isn't coming, it's here. Your moment isn't approaching, it's now. Everything you've been waiting for starts the moment you realize you're ready to become everything you've been waiting for.